Going back to 1960 for that one. That's Bobbi Lee Justice and the Scepters. And if you were in a Toronto band, if you were in a great Toronto band during that particular period of time, you better have a B3 in there somewhere. Man, oh man, I love it. Bobbi Lee Justice is on the line. Good morning, Bobbi Lee.
Good morning, John. How are you?
Very well. Great to have you here. And we want to explain for those of you who are wondering, what are we doing with Bobbi Lee Justice here this morning? Well, I'll tell you, yesterday I was talking about a story when I worked for Foster Hewitt at CKFH, and Colin Kerr and his famous bird, Rajah, came in. Yeah, Raj, right. Yeah. I always want to say Rajah. Raj came into the radio station, and I was trying to teach Raj how to say he shoots, he scores. And Foster Hewitt came up behind me and said, John, teach him that and you're out of work. So, but anyway, what's interesting about Colin Kerr and Raj is the fact that you were in the original Mynah Birds, and you were the first to record the Mynah Bird song as a studio demo, I understand, for Colin Kerr. Is that right?
Yes. Well, we weren't in the original. We were the original Mynah Birds. We were the house band at the Mynah Bird Club that was owned by Colin Kerr.
Yeah.
We were there from 64 to 67. And it was at that point that Colin had the bird. Of course, you met the bird that talked and made a few noises and stuff. And he wanted to promote this bird and take it down to the States. And so he wanted us to change our names to the Mynah Birds and record the song that his brother had written, the Mynah Bird song.
Yeah, because just so we get it clear, there was the Mynah Bird song, and then later there was the Mynah Bird Hop, right?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Now, the Mynah Bird song is the one that we did. We did a demo for him, and then later on, the second one was made by Rick James and Neil Young, and they were the Mynah Birds. They officially took the name the Mynah Birds. We actually wouldn't take the name the Mynah Birds. We had a little dispute with Colin, if you know Colin.
Yeah.
And because we wanted to do the B-side, we wanted to put our own recording on the other side, and we wanted to say who we were, Bobbi and Lee and the Scepters. And he wouldn't have that. So we did the demo. We made the demo for him, and that's the one he shopped around. And we were known as the Mynah Birds for a while at his club. But for the recording, we wanted to do one side as the Mynah Birds, then the other side would be Bobbi Lee Justice.
Mynah Bird, oh Mynah Bird, I'm as lonely as can be.
Mynah Bird, Mynah Bird. All right, Bobbi Lee, that brings back a memory or two.
That brings back a memory, and it keeps coming back to me. It's 40 years later, and it still keeps coming back. That's actually the Mynah Bird song that's on there now, and the Mynah Bird Hop was recorded a year later, and that was recorded by Ricky Matthews. Well, I knew him as Ricky Matthews. That was Rick James.
Right.
And Neil Young, yeah.
Now, let me ask you, we Ian Grant, our producer, we tried everything we could to figure out where, if indeed he's still alive and where he might be. Colin Kerr, have you ever heard from him over the years?
No, I lost track of him about 30 years ago, and at that point I heard that he was over in Tahiti. He had gone over there because he loves exotic animals, and he was over there raising birds and animals, and apparently Rajah is still alive, but I don't know where Colin has gotten to. I know his brother has passed away.
Yes,
Ben, who wrote the song, has passed away.
Yeah, Ben passed away. I got to meet Ben a few times. He was a mayoral candidate here, big cayenne pepper advocate. But a great story here, Bobbi Lee. There were only a few hundred copies made of this particular record. You gave one away to a man by the name of Scott Young.
Scott Young, yeah.
Neil's dad.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Who was a sports writer, I believe, for the Globe and Mail at the time.
It was a telegram, wasn't it?
Was it a
Globe and
telegram?
Mail or a telegram. It was one of my dad had a painting and decorating business, and my dad had painted his house, and through that somehow I met Scott, and then Scott used to come down to the club, the Mynah Bird, and he brought his son Neil down there, and I ended up giving a copy of my demo, the only copy I had, to Scott, and Scott passed it on to Neil. And then Neil actually started coming down and started playing down. Neil Young would fill in for us at the Mynah Bird Club.
Yeah, and let's just say, too, and you'll attest to this, I think, Bobbi Lee, that there were a lot of people who went through the Mynah Birds over that short period of time. A lot of great musicians.
Well, I went through Yorkville Village.
Yeah. Absolutely.
At that point, Gordon Lightfoot, David Clayton Thomas, Bruce Coburn, Neil Young, Ricky James. There's a whole bunch of them.
I remember sitting there one day with Bernie Finkelstein, manager of Bruce Coburn, and he was there with one of the members of Mountain. And that was the big, I think, you remember this? Remember the big hepatitis scare in the village there?
Sure.
And when, oh, yeah, everybody's afraid to do anything because everybody was so sick. But nonetheless, some great memories. And, of course, your band is still going strong.
We're still going strong. Yes, I am, yeah.
Yeah, and because I went to your website, as a matter of fact, Bobbi Lee.
BobbiLeeJustice.com.
Yep, and the Scepters. And, of course, you're still being booked. You're still playing. And
we're
thanks.
still touring.
Yeah, and thanks for bringing back some great memories of the Mynah Bird song.
Well, thanks.
And I'm glad we were able to track you down.
Okay.
All right, have a good day.
Good to talk to you. Thank you.
Take care.
Right,
Bye-bye. A little bit of Toronto history. The days of the village, yes, when you could actually afford to buy a drink and or something to eat. A little difficult today. But the Mynah Bird song, that was, Colin Kerr and Rajah, his Mynah Bird. And he was indeed the brother, too, of Ben. I didn't realize that Ben had written the song. But Ben Kerr, who ran for mayor a few times, he was a character, always trying to get me to take cayenne pepper. He said I'd live forever.